That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
Welcome back, campers, to episode 44 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back to bring the spooky, weird, wacky, and anything else you want. And you know what? We don't mess around like we always do. We get straight into these news stories.
Yep.
These exciting news stories that are happening all around the world. And I will start with this one that reads, I thought I wasn't going to read this because I thought it was pretty morbid, but then it turned out to be funny. It says, dead infant found outside New York City park turns out to be lifelike doll.
Oh.
So
was it the doll that couple had?
What couple?
Wasn't there that gay couple that had the zombie doll or
whatever?
whatever?
No, it was not.
Because they were in New York, weren't they?
That was a Parisian. Yes, they are in New York.
Yeah.
But that was like a Parisian. No, this was one of those dolls. You see them when you go to Halloween shops now. But it was one of those dolls that's like a zombie baby, which was like really popular. Remember the lady with the zombie doll that she dated?
Married.
And
half of the wedding was other zombie dolls. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to wipe that one out of my head.
So they found it in a park, and like if you guys don't know what these zombie babies look like, just next Halloween when you go into like a Spirit or it's like your local Halloween shop, look for these little creepy babies. Sometimes they have like fangs, but they're like discolored and they look like zombies. So the baby was lying face down in the grass in Queens, in like a park in Queens. And they called the cops, and all the cops came, and they like body bagged it up. And then they realized later that
they bagged it and tagged it before realizing it was made of fucking plastic.
No, I think they put like the white tarp on it. They didn't put them like in a body bag, so I don't think they picked it up. But
I almost threw a white tarp down today.
What are you talking about?
I was driving by a preschool, and there was just a giant dead raccoon.
Oh, really?
Like on the road next to the preschool, and I saw like 4 little kids just staring at it, and I was like, maybe I should turn around and like.
No, they need to know how life works.
It was kind of sad.
But this baby, when they went up to it,
raccoon was big.
It was. Stop talking about the raccoon.
It looked like a medium-sized dog. It was probably the bloating.
This baby was wearing a shirt that said "The Crawling Dead."
Yeah,
and the cops are like,
I've got one of those for my 8-month-old
bastard put the shirt on this baby, or just coincidence. They're so shitty. But all the cops were like really pissed off. They had 200 officers canvassing the park.
I'd be furious. Are you kidding me?
It says, "I'm glad it's not a 3-month-old."
As a taxpayer, I'd be fucking pissed.
It says, "I'm glad it's not a 3-month-old child, but I think there's somebody that made a huge mistake."
They just misplaced their dead baby.
Yeah, it's not illegal to. I mean, the worst that could happen is littering, right?
Yeah.
But like
littering and
leaving a dead baby in a park
while smoking the reefer.
so yeah, a bunch of the cops were pissed. But like everybody has, I don't know. People have seen these babies before. It's not like.
No, none of the zombie babies I've seen would lead me to believe it was a real baby.
Exactly. I mean.
It confirmed it was one of the little zombie boys?
It's all like discolored. Maybe that's why. But like it's definitely a fake doll. And I don't know. But I guess somebody probably saw it from a distance. It's like, I'm definitely not going over there. Yeah. Because you can't get that image out of your head once you see that. So,
you really can't.
So do you have a new story? Or do you want me to double up? Because you said you had something else.
I'll do 2 very quick ones.
Okay.
Warning, they're both very horny. So my first one is simply ecstasy pills shaped like Wario have been found seized in Japan. So,
that's cool.
Our beloved onion-eating stinky boy who is basically the better version of Mario.
He's a me, Wario.
Yeah. Ecstasy pills shaped like him.
But they have ecstasy pills shaped like everything.
Exactly. So it's not that surprising.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was funny. Go ahead.
It makes the drug fun, right?
Yeah, that's all you need.
I've never taken it, but if I did, Wario pills would be the first ones.
First one down the gullet.
And then I also read a story that I'm not going to get into it too much, but I read that these girls, I think for their quinceañera, they wanted to get a cake that had Mariah Carey on it. Mm-hmm. So they told the baker, we want a cake with like a screen printed Mariah Carey on it. Guess who they screen printed on? It was Marie Curie.
Who is Marie Curie?
The scientist. The woman who like the radiation, like.
Yeah, they didn't let me into science class. There are too many chemicals to play with.
Oh my God, man!
But hey, you know what? That's almost better. You know.
I mean, she was a French and Polish physicist and chemist who conducted and pioneered research on radioactivity. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the first person and only woman to win the Nobel Prize twice, and the only person to win the Nobel Prize in 2 different scientific fields. We get it. You won a Nobel Prize. Well, you're also on a cake now.
How do you spell her last name?
Curie. But like they thought it was Mariah Carey. And
you know exactly.
Marie Curie.
You know exactly what happened, right?
What?
The dad went in, did this whole order, fucking spelled the name wrong. I can almost guarantee you. We all have fathers. We can all see our own fathers doing these mistakes. I can see myself doing this in a few years. Hopefully more than a few years.
Can I get a cake with the Ariana Grande on there? Can I put her on the cakes?
It just comes out of a giant Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Like, hey, it's still pretty beautiful. I mean, if you think about it. No, I'm surprised you didn't know who Marie Curie was.
Yeah, I'm not smart. I'll be the first to tell you.
Yeah, she like pioneered like radio. I mean, I was like, she's a scientist, so I'm not like a Marie Curie expert, but I know she dabbled in. I think she died from like radioactive poisoning.
Probably.
A little Chernobyl paste on her.
Yeah. All right. So my next news story. That's your last one, right?
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah. So I got another quick one because I do want to get into something else real quick. WWE superstar John Cena confesses that he got an accidental boner while wrestling. I warned you. This was gonna get horny.
Don't add the accidental, John. What are you doing?
Yeah, John. It's fine.
Who is he wrestling? Who is he wrestling? Big Show.
Mankind.
No, he wasn't. Was he?
No, I didn't click on the link because I'm
Mankind.
only doing
Mick Foley. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he pulls out that sock.
What was it just called, Mr. Sock, or was that South Park?
No, that's. Yeah, it's Mr. Sock.
Mr. Sock, yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, when you pull out that sock, I think it's more of that Pavlovian thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So I want to do a little
in
quick.
Those jean shorts, you got a boner in those long jean shorts.
I believe they're called jorts.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yep, the jorts and the Jordans. Right.
I don't want to offend the jort community.
And my brother was a big WWF fan.
Oh, World
before it was
Wildlife Federation.
Yeah, before it was WWE, and so that I was never secondhand viewing of the John Cena era, but I do believe he wore jorts and Jordans.
No, I was big into the John Cena era. I want to say he wore jorts, but I could not see him for the most part of his career because you can't see him.
Yeah, not only was I taking a sip of wine during that, but I didn't want to acknowledge the joke. All right, so I have a quick update before we get into our stories. And this is a little Piss Boy update.
Wait, who's Piss Boy?
You don't know Piss Boy. I don't know Piss Boy. I only know mutual friends of Piss Boy, so it's safe to talk about.
Okay.
So a friend of mine was telling me a story when they had a strange roommate, and their roommate apparently got really into making homemade kombucha, quote unquote.
Kombucha?
Kombucha.
He's like, kombucha. You're the guy who fucked up the cake.
Yeah. And so they would always see these large yellow, ranging shades of yellow jugs in his room, and he kept saying, "No, it's kombucha."
Oh,
and is it kombucha?
It's kombucha.
I always got kombucha. Who gives a shit?
Wait, was he trying to make kombucha out of his piss?
And so one day, one of the roommates went into his bathroom, and they found like this like jar, mason jar, that kind of looked like piss, and he was just like, "Man, this has been going on for too long. I gotta check it out." He opened it, sniffed it. Sure as piss, it was piss.
No.
And I guess he like went and like knocked down the door, opened it up, looked at the guy, and was just like, "Hey man, you drinking your piss?"
Wait, so he's been drinking it? I thought he was just like Howard Hughesing it. You know, like Howard Hughes, he peed in a bunch of like, if you see the movie The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, there's a scene where like Howard Hughes like stayed in his room and peed in these jars and like
piss jug, like Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, he lined them up all around along the walls. And so wait, but he wasn't just like laziness. It was like he was straight up drinking.
Well, so he asked, "Hey man, you drinking your own piss?" And the guy, without denying it, just says, "What is it like? Why would you care?" And
yes or no.
And yeah, so the roommate was like, all right, we need to have a meeting. And before they even sat down, had the roommate meeting, the other guy was like, okay, I can be out by July.
No way.
Yeah. And
Wait.
So he wouldn't, I don't think he ever really admitted it, but they found books of like positive piss boy drinking books being like what it could be good for and stuff. And okay, hold on. This right here is the cream of the crop. So apparently
it wasn't his piss. Was it not his piss?
No, it was his piss.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I should take a step back because it was a business idea he had, and I feel like if I put on blast, I could get sued. So maybe I won't. Maybe if this thing comes out one day, I can say that was that dude.
Okay. Maybe,
but
now you're just teasing me.
I know.
Here.
I have to pause the podcast to tell you.
Okay, pause it really quick. Shit. So, okay, let's just say this: you might have to like get on your hands and knees after you move out of the apartment, because there might be a little bit of cleanup and some snorkels involved. As
yeah. But yeah, so
I wouldn't kick somebody out of my apartment for drinking his own piss, though.
They said the whole room started smelling like piss.
Okay, well, if he's hoarding piss.
Oh, they said he had like 21 gallons of piss. They counted it, I think. I think they counted it and they added it all. I think they said 21 gallons of piss. They had those big old mason jar things that you use for like brewing beer. So maybe he was trying to make kombucha out of his piss. Pissbucha.
You know what's really interesting? I just thought of this. If you murder somebody, start like doing a weird thing, like drinking your piss, because people are gonna overlook the weird. Like if you're like kind of acting weird and they find like blood and like hey, these shoes are covered in blood? You'd be like, yeah, but he's drinking his own piss. And be like, yeah, you make a good point. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it also could help with the whole
misdirection,
pleading insanity.
True. So hey, you guys, just think about it.
Start my morning.
Just think about it.
What a big old gulp of piss.
We've said piss so many times already. But damn, okay, that's
that word.
Interesting. I don't think he's gonna take that career move isn't gonna take off. I don't think.
You just never know.
Yeah. All right. Well, this brings me to my next point, which is our sponsor, Spring Hill Jack Coffee. So if you guys really enjoy coffee, you guys got to go check out Spring Hill Jack. They have amazing coffee. They have multiple blends. They have Black Phillip. They have Old Scratch. They have, what was that last one called? Resurrection. I mess that one up.
I forgot to grab a bag last time I was here, so I haven't tried it yet. But I've been smelling the bag every time I go into your kitchen, and I really want to like. Do not let me leave your place without grabbing some.
Chris and I have been like drinking every morning. It's so good.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, you get like the Starbucks coffee and you get like the Trader Joe's coffee, and it's like okay, but like you could definitely tell the quality of difference from like somebody who like small batch roasting coffee is so much better than like any other kind of coffee.
That's one of those things that like you can definitely tell the difference between like the real shit and like the super overproduced stuff you buy at every supermarket. Like coffee is one of those things that like you can taste the difference. I'm sure you can taste it with this stuff. I haven't tried it yet, but like I'm real excited to.
And we got like a French press. We got like the cold brew thing. We got regular coffee bottle. We drinking it in all different forms.
I need to step up my coffee game.
Yeah, you do. But
I just mash it with a hammer and stuff it in the thing.
I put it in the sock and dip it in the pool.
You eat it, right?
People do.
Yeah, you dip it in chocolate.
My roommates used to take lips. They used to take lips of coffee grounds while they were studying to stay awake.
That's a thing. There's a company that makes and sells like dip pouches that have coffee grounds in them.
Exactly.
I guess it's like really big in the MLB and shit.
Yeah. So if you guys really like coffee, drink Spring Hill Jack. Lip Spring Hill Jack.
Throwing a big old horseshoe lipper.
Yeah, it's great coffee. It's actually really affordable too. I mean, a lot of these coffee companies, they'll just like charge it up because they're like, oh, it's coffee, it's artisanal. It's like, this is actually really good coffee that's well priced too. So,
and I think it's fair to say that if you like our podcast and you like coffee
and you like spooky stuff,
that's what I mean. Like if you like our podcast, like go check out their page. Like you will absolutely love like everything about it, the idea, the designs, everything. It really it fits in with like the stuff we do. It
really tickles your fancy.
Oh yeah.
So go check them out. Great company, great people, great coffee. So cool.
Should we get into the stories?
Let's get into these stories.
No, we said that we were just about to start doing the stories, but I I just ate one of the coffee beans, and it was fucking. You don't need to dip that shit in chocolate. It was delicious.
I was eating the coffee beans too. I think we shouldn't be doing this at 9:00 at night.
I don't give a shit.
So eat them raw too. It's all good. Okay, now let's get into these stories. So many of people we remember throughout history are people who excelled in their profession or passion. Michael Jordan, Albert Einstein, Susan B. Anthony, hey, even Marie Curie, right? Right, David?
Don't crucify me on this one. Who's Susan B. Anthony again? I know the name.
Oh my gosh, she was like the pioneer for women's voting and stuff like that.
That's right.
She's on like that the silver dollar.
I should edit this one out. That's not a good one to know.
That's
not a good one not to know.
So
woof.
So like I said, we know these people who excelled in their passion, like MJ, Albert Ein, Susan B.
Michael Jackson.
All people who we look upon with great admiration as their names echo throughout history because of their accomplishment and masterful level of execution. But one man in particular is remembered by some still today for the exact opposite of a master level of execution. This man's name synonymous with death, Satan, and most importantly, botched execution. Oh my god, I can't fucking talk.
You just botched that one, bitch.
Botched executions. So he's most importantly known for botched executions. I can't do this.
Yeesh.
That man is the infamous Jack Ketch. Now, much of Jack Ketch's background is still a mystery as we don't know his birth date or birthplace, but many historians believed him to be born in the 1640s and from Ireland, most likely. He lived most of his life in England and most of his early life in prison, as Jack spent some time in the Marshalsea prison. What did he go to prison for?
He ate his neighbor's wiener dog.
He did not.
Shit.
It was debt. Apparently, you could go to prison for debt.
Oh, well, yeah.
No. You don't go to prison for debt anymore, do you?
Yeah.
Do you
can.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought
sure
that's like.
can.
I mean, you like not paying taxes.
You rack
but,
up
like,
a credit
debt.
card bill so fucking high and you can't pay it. I'm pretty sure you go to fucking jail for it if you can't pay it off.
Really?
Pretty sure.
I think you just filed bankruptcy. I don't know.
No, dude.
I don't know how finances work.
Yeah. What?
I've filed 5 times already. Anyway, after he was released, many believed that he began shadowing Edward Dunn, London's common hangman, and by 1663 secured the role for himself when Edward died. So this is 1663. Hangmans are hot right now. Everyone's dying. Everyone's getting killed. I feel like if you had too high of a debt, they just kill you too. But
Thanos is right.
Yeah. So his first mention is in a public document, which was 13 years later, though, in January of 1676, in the case of a man who was to be executed for murdering the bailiff charged with arresting him, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because I feel like bailiffs just, I mean, I've seen Judge Judy, and I feel like they just make, like, witty remarks every time. Judge Judy's like, can you believe this guy? And the bailiff's like, no. And then...
What were you thinking? Guacamole.
So he killed the bailiff. So the guy that arrested him, he killed him, which means he's not arrested anymore. But the paper read, the jury brought him in guilty, and Jack Ketch will make him free. So that was like his first like kind of notoriety a little bit, like in a public document. But now for Jack's career as a hangman, he did have a pretty sweet gig, since the average number of public executions a year were about, drumroll David, what do you think? Average number of executions a year? Public executions, I'm sorry.
Fuck it, 900?
8.
Oh.
He had an easy gig, man.
I was thinking 3 a day.
No. Maybe private executions,
Okay.
But public, I don't know. So most prisoners accused of murder would be hanged. There we go. Mm-hmm. In the gallows. But those who were found guilty of treason were drawn and quartered at his hand. Do you know what drawn and quartered means?
They draw your blood into quartz?
They do not do that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it, like, I always heard it, and I was like, I don't really know what it means. And I asked my girlfriend, and she's like, is that where, like, a horse, like, you tie, like, ropes to each part of, like, your arms and legs?
If that's what it is, you need to be worried.
No, it's not that. But I was like, that's a really good guess because it means they would be dragged by a horse to the place of their execution and then cut into pieces. So you're drawn, you're like drug, and then you're quartered, which means like you're sliced up into pieces. And maybe there's like different interpretations of it, but like that's the one that I read. So because I'd never really like delved into it. So after a traitor was killed, the heads, as were custom, were displayed on London Bridge, Temple Bar, and other notable landmarks. How cool would England be back then? So walking on London Bridge, and there's just severed heads everywhere. I'm not saying it's cool, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It's pretty cool.
Can you imagine the goddamn seagull problem they must have had?
You know what's weird?
So they had no guillotine.
No, you know what my first idea was? I was like, they didn't have seagulls in the 1600s. I don't even know if that's true or not.
It's not. We didn't invent them.
Well, I feel like they showed up when we started building baseball parks.
They're surveillance drones, and they land on cables to charge.
Exactly.
You know.
Conspiracy theories, people.
So wait, there's no guillotine.
That was more of a French thing, I believe.
Yeah. You know, the one of my good fun facts I have. Do you know the year of the last guillotine execution?
I think it's guillotine.
We've done this before.
Rappers say guillotine. I've heard like Method Man say guillotine before, and I'm like,
Wu-Tang is for the children.
It's true. When was the last guillotine?
1977.
Was that in France?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. Do you think you requested that?
No, but I think after that they're like, all right, it's the fucking almost the 80s. We should stop.
That's pretty fucking nuts.
I always remember that because that's the same year A New Hope Star Wars came out, and the same year the Portland Trailblazers won the national championship.
That's crazy. That like Bob Dylan's making hits and a guy's getting his head cut off with a guillotine
in front of like the crowds. Like it was a public thing.
Damn.
Yeah.
Would you go to it?
Fuck yeah.
I'd be like in the way back so I could like.
I'd go selling. I wouldn't be in the splash zone. I'd be out there selling parkas.
Anyway, so I've been trying to catch the head.
Yeah.
Mom, I got a souvenir.
25 cents to the lad who catches the head.
So the corpses of many prisoners who were not quartered were instead gibbeted. And I saw this and I never knew the word. So gibbeted means being placed in a small upright cage hung up near busy roadways. So
like that shit you see in like pirate movies.
Exactly. Okay. Or like Monty Python. I don't know.
The beginning of Thor 3.
Yes.
He's in one.
Exactly. Okay. But it's a little bit more narrow, and I thought you put them in alive. I think some people go in alive, but a lot of the time I think they were just dead people that they put in there to like...
Ooh, that's nasty.
They did it to like warn people like, hey, look what happens if you break the law. You know, it's just kind of like...
I think there's a cleaner way of doing it.
You're probably right, but... Yeah, it probably stunk near those roadways.
Yeah, it smelled all fucking awful. Everything smelled bad back then.
It's true. No one wiped their ass.
Everything smelled like shit.
Yeah.
Shit, blood, and death.
That's my new autobiography coming out.
I was going to say your new cologne, but yeah.
So, in order to make the body parts and corpses on display last longer, the executioner would first immerse them in a boiling pitch. Ketch did this at his headquarters in Newgate Prison, which hence became known as Jack's Kitchen. Would you watch that on Food Network?
I've been getting really into watching the compilations of Gordon Ramsay just tearing people apart.
It's great. Oh, literally. I mean, that was Jack's job, to tear people apart.
Yes. So there's definitely some
So just picture like Gordon Ramsay as an executioner.
I mean, he kind of just does kind of head people in the kitchen.
He does. He fucking murders.
It's great.
So now Jack did have a few vices, as he was always pretty damn drunk on and off the job.
Fuck yeah.
Which is not a good quality if you're an executioner. No. So another vice of his was that he was a very greedy man. Jack would constantly fight with the authorities over payment for quartering and boiling of the bodies. Imagine getting in an argument with your boss. Be like, I fucking cut him up and I boiled him and I stuck him in a cage down by the road and you didn't give me my quarter yet. Like, that's such a fucking weird...
I mean, shit, if you have to do all this brutal shit and you're not getting paid...
I guess you're right.
Kind of salty too.
Yeah, I guess you're not greedy at that point. I don't know, but like...
It's a job.
But here's the weird thing. Jack also went on strike during his run as executioner and won higher wages.
He stood outside with a little sign.
Dude, he's a one-man union.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how hard it is to fill the role, but I think
Couldn't imagine it'd be that hard.
I feel like a lot of executioners, I read that they weren't like of good standing to begin with before they started executing people.
I wouldn't think so.
They're usually like criminals, and they're like, oh yeah.
No prince was like, oh, Lord King, sir, Daddy, I want to cut their heads off.
I guess you're right. Oh, Joffrey, you get a little Joffrey in there, but Jack was most known for trying to make $1 wherever.
Wait, Jack Ramsey? We just made a full circle there.
Who's Jack Ramsey?
Isn't that the name of the actor who played Joffrey?
No, his name's Jack Gleason.
Oh, fuck. All right. Sorry.
So, Jack was Ramsey. You're thinking of Gordon Ramsay.
Well, no, I was saying that was the full circle.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, Jack was most known for trying to make $1 wherever he could, and that included selling items. Now, it was customary, this is weird, now it was customary for the executioner to keep the clothes of the condemned. Often very fancy in the case of the wealthy, since you want to look good in front of a crowd. On your way out, that's the last time they're going to remember you. Yeah. You want to look really good. So, but it is kind of crazy to think that the executioner would just keep his clothes, but it does make sense because he was probably like boiling body parts and was like, I have a pile of clothes here. I'm not going to send this back to like the family. Like,
you can wash it in the boil.
Exactly. So, but he would also, like Jack would sell the nice clothing and also get to keep the rope that was used in the hanging as a used noose that could be sold for as much as $1 an inch. So that's really weird. And you might be asking,
like collector's items?
See, that's the thing. I was like, why the fuck? I thought it would be like, because the family wouldn't want that. But it's also, like people.
I bet rope was hard as fuck to make back then, though.
I know, was why I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why the fuck would anybody want that rope? That's pretty like brutal.
For them horses.
But I guess the hangman's used rope was widely believed to carry serious magic and was in high demand.
Okay.
Even so much as a strand of hangman's rope was believed to cure any number of ailments when it was worn around the neck.
Okay.
And gamblers sought pieces to improve their luck. Nooses actually had been used to cure headaches by wrapping them around the temples of the afflicted since ancient Rome.
Okay.
Which is fucking nuts to think about. Like, this was around a guy's neck and strangled the life out of him. And now I'm just like rocking
off blood circulation to numb your head.
I'm rocking. Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm rocking like a sweet headband, a hangman's headband.
Karate Kid.
Hangman. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Huh? So now, like I said in the beginning, Jack was known as a pretty bad dude. Apparently, his hangman ability wasn't all that great, as the hangings did not play out like most of us think of them today.
How can he fuck that up?
Because he's fucking drunk all the time, dude.
So what?
So in the more...
we get drunk and we make a weekly podcast.
Hey, you're right. You're right. I mean, we're not killing anybody, but...
I think it's
you might want to after you listen to this, So in the more recent form of execution, the person would have a rope tied around their neck that was a certain length depending on the height and weight of the person. So that's in order to break the neck once the rope lost all its slack. So a lot of like modern, I know Riley talked about the prison and how, people were hanged and stuff like that. And there were some instances where people were hanged and they got the weight wrong of the person and they put the rope too long and you get too much momentum. And there are people who have been known, if the rope was too long, sometimes the head would pop off. Mm-hmm. If the rope was too short, then the person would hang there and get strangled to death for...
And you'd have to listen to it.
Yeah, and their neck wouldn't break immediately. But if you had the rope just the right length, depending on their height and weight,
a little whiplash,
then it would snap their neck. Jack didn't fucking give a shit. So drunk Jack, on the other hand, like I said, didn't give a shit. So most prisoners would hang in front of an audience for 30 to 45 minutes before they were officially dead.
Shit, I thought it'd make like 2 minutes.
No, well, I mean, there's some people who like 15. It really depends. But I think the longest one that they found, or like, I don't know if it was commonly long, but like 45, 30 minutes was like the median in there.
I feel like at one point you just come down and do it again.
That's actually happened before.
Yeah, why not?
There's been a story, I can't remember which prison it was, but there was a story where they fucking pulled the thing and the rope wasn't around the guy's neck yet, and he just fell through the trap door and like busted his face on the concrete below, and they walked him back up and put the noose on him, and they just hanged him again. I was like, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
At that point, like,
well, this is where piñatas come from.
is it?
Yeah, you give the children
You gotta-
swords, and they go to town on, you know.
What do you want for your last meal, old Garrigan? Give me a bag full of mixed candy.
Leave the wrappers on.
Hell, put a couple stickers in there too. Maybe a couple tattoos of dragons and lions and tigers.
How about one of those crazy little monsters that you put in your finger made of rubber?
Yes.
And they got the arms that
You
they bounce around them big old alligator mouths and those big old eyes.
Give me a nice finger monster. Oh, that's fun.
Give me 6-finger monsters.
Hell, throw a condom in there too. That's for the older kids, you know. Throw a little condom in there.
Make sure expiration date lasts a long time.
Chewy. So, not used. What the fuck? So, like I said, 30 to 45 minutes, and not full of candy. So, at that point, you would kind of want somebody to come like, can you just come up and hit me with a bat a couple of times, like. So
can you take the pain from my neck to my knees?
Honestly, at that point, maybe. So the only thing that made this worse was the fact that the prisoner would sometimes pay Jack in a last-ditch effort to save themselves from horrible agony, asking him to make the execution swift and quick. But Jack usually just took the money and put no effort into adjusting the rope length. Sometimes it did kill them quickly by chance, but that was all just luck. So he's just
terrible Yelp reviews.
No, honestly, they're just like, hey, Jack, can you like hang me like quick? Like, I don't want to like hang there for 45 minutes. And he's like, oh, I'll see what I can do. And they give him the money. He's like, I fucking have the money already. Like, I'm not going to like sit there and try to figure out math. You know, he's not a big math guy.
Yeah.
He probably didn't know who Marie Curie was.
So my question is,
She wasn't alive.
were the executioners like, were they just like big ass dudes with fucking black sacks over their heads?
No.
Where did that come from?
That might have happened. I mean, this is the 1600s, so that might have happened a little bit later for like, I think later. I mean, I was going to say they probably don't want their identity seen, but like if you're the biggest dude in town.
Yeah, you're just the mountain. People know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but I think a lot of them also wore, they're not like, I always picture like the one from Shrek, where he has the hood on. He's like a big, like, shirtless dude. Is he shirtless in Shrek? I don't know. But I bet they are like fully clothed and they're like normal sized guys. So you probably couldn't tell. Because I also heard sometimes that they rotated executioners.
Okay.
It wasn't just one guy.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just like, well, I'll do it, but I don't want people to know that I'm doing this because they'll be like, damn, I didn't know Ted could cut off a guy's head so easily. Like, he wasn't even upset. You see his face? He was smiling.
Yeah.
He was smiling.
Yeah, that's also part of it.
So, yeah, I think it's just to protect your own, you know.
My high school mascot was the Axemen.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that before.
Doesn't really make any sense. And we had, when I was young, when my brother and my sister were in high school, they had shirts that, they had a chant that was "Give him the axe, the axe, the axe."
Mm-hmm.
And someone made like a shirt design that had like the stereotypical executioner on it, and I guess like the school district got all pissed off and like banned them.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah, I still have one in my closet somewhere.
I guess like I know why they do it because like
it is high school. It's kind of fucked up.
Exactly.
But
it's
still.
like high school. I mean, I remember they're like, no hoods. And you're like, why? And they're like, they're gang related. You're like,
you're hiding a gun in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like weird shit like that. But like, I don't know. I guess like, you know, better be safe than sorry when it comes to kids, you know? But
yeah.
It's like whatever. I mean, executioners are really cool looking. Like, with that hood, it's so fucking scary.
Hell yeah.
But these guys are all hanging, you know, people right now, so that's not as scary. That's just pulling a lever. But once you get into the axe game, which we will get into shortly,
fuck yeah, let's get to it.
That's when it gets fun.
I want to get to that part.
So this next part of the story is what solidified Jack's infamy in being a drunk, lazy, and careless piece of shit. So most of the time, the standard was hanging. But for highborn nobles such as Lord William Russell and James Scott, the Duke of Monmouth, not Monmouth, Monmouth.
Mammoth?
It's Monmouth. Monmouth. Monmouth.
Man mouth. That's a real nice man mouth you got there, boy.
So James Scott, the Duke of Monmouth. The standard was a beheading instead of a hanging. So nobles got beheaded because I think it's seen as like, well, this is definitely going to be quicker and less agonizing. And it's also, we talked about this too. It's less humiliating maybe.
Okay.
I think it's more humiliating because your head just like rolls into a basket or something, you know,
Yeah.
or just falls. Like I don't know, it's pretty. But also hanging is not that great where your like face turns purple.
Sometimes they put a sack over your head.
That's true. So, because sometimes your eyes pop out, I think. So that's gross.
You bite your tongue off and blood sprays everywhere.
Are you serious?
I don't know. I just made that up.
Oh, you're nasty, though. You're nasty.
I'm a nasty little bitch.
So Lord William Russell was to be put to death in the year of 1683 for allegedly plotting to murder King Charles II. William apparently paid Jack 10 to 30 guineas, which was actually the currency before the English pound. I didn't know that. I had to look that up. It's pretty interesting. And he paid him 10 to 30 guineas to make his first. What's so funny?
Man, that's funny name.
Guinea pigs?
Guinea.
So he paid him that to make the first swing count and end it quickly. William Russell walked up to the stage in front of the crowd and laid face down. Jack lifted his axe and came down upon William. Except for that he missed his neck completely, driving the axe into his shoulder. It then took Jack...
Oh, shit. She's got an arm off.
So, literally, I
Shaun
would
of the
have
Dead.
loved... Oh, yeah, that's right. Mary.
She's got an arm off.
Yeah. So, I would have loved to see...
Or he's got an arm off is the guy in the wedding suit, yeah.
Yeah, so I would have loved to see his reaction when he just came down on his shoulder, like, are you fucking kidding me? I just paid you fucking good money. But then the next part is what really fucked him up. It took Jack 3 sloppy swings with the axe to remove the head as the crowd cried out in disgust and disapproval. He fucking took 3 swings.
You just turn the crowd and like give him a shrug?
So, I don't know what you do past that point. So many don't know if he did this vindictively or if he would just blind drunk. A lot of people don't know. They're like, is he like an evil man or just like a really bad executioner?
It's not very coordinated.
But either way, it was horrid. The crowd was so angry with Jack, he felt compelled to publish a pamphlet titled Apology, in which he excused his performance with the claim that Lord Russell had failed to, quote unquote, dispose himself as was most suitable, and that he was therefore distracted while taking aim on his neck. So he basically is just like, you didn't present your neck enough.
Yeah.
So he's
That's
like,
your fault, dude.
Yeah, so
show some neck.
which is, you could kind of get away with playing that game for a bit. You know, you're like, he kind of moved. He has a stubby neck, not a lot of surface area to swing at. But when you do it twice, that's when the questions start.
Yeah.
So 2 years later, in 1685.
Well, hold on. It's 3 strikes and you're out, so he's fine.
I guess.
MLB rules. Those are professional athletes.
I mean,
they get 2 misses.
This
Does he not?
This always reminds me of the scene from. Have you seen the movie The Black Knight with Martin Lawrence?
Fuck, when I was 6.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I remember there's a scene that I always thought was kind of like funny but morbid, and it's an executioner, and he's trying to like cut a watermelon in half with his axe, and it's not working, so he turns the axe sideways and like smashes it with like the side of like the giant axe. And I always thought, and Martin Lawrence is like, he's about to get executed, he's like, oh shit, and I'm like, that is how I feel like.
Yeah,
this guy's doing
it's
it.
probably based off him.
So honestly, maybe. So 2 years later, in 1685, it was James Scott, the Duke of Monmouth's turn for
Monmouth.
So it was his turn because he got accused of starting a rebellion against his uncle, King Charles II. So they both tried to start rebellions, but this guy was his nephew, and the Duke gave Ketch 6 guineas with a promise of more from his servant after the act, and demanded that he do a better job this time than the last time, because everybody fucking remembered the last time.
It's hard to forget.
So he said to him, "Do not serve me as you did my Lord Russell. I have heard you struck him 3 or 4 times." So everyone's pretty aware of this.
Yeah.
And at this point, that's kind of like insulting in a weird way. He's just like, hey, I heard you're bad at your job. Can you be really good at your job this time?
Yeah.
And if you're kind of like
I feel like I'd take an arm off and then like an ankle.
That's what I'm saying. If you're Jack Ketch, you're like, fuck this guy. Like but like you're also not gonna get the rest of the money. He was smart. He's like, I'll pay you $6 up front. My servant, and he might not even had more money, but but he said I'll pay you more on the back end.
The old dead man's bluff.
So exactly. So the Duke walked up to the stage, laid face down, and Jack lifted the axe. This is by far my favorite part of the story.
I'm really excited.
This time was so much worse as Jack brought the axe down on the neck of the Duke 5 times. After the 5th swing, with the head still attached, he cast down his axe in frustration and started to walk off the stage, but was quickly ordered to continue. And in the end, he had to finish the task with a knife. The crowds were up in arms, and they said that he got away quickly as the crowd tried to tear him limb from limb. So he literally swung the axe 5 times down on this guy's neck, and then threw he
need to sharpen that shit.
Yeah, and then he threw a temper tantrum, fucking threw the axe down on the stage. Fuck this shit! And like walked off stage, and everyone's like, "You gotta go finish it." And the guy's like, I have more guineas.
Take my fish gutting knife here.
Seriously, it's fucking crazy that he had to just go back and like. I mean, it's pretty humiliating. He was humiliated to like swing 5 times.
It's a big stage to
and
fail on.
Still not get through.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy's a shit axe or a shit swing. I don't know. He's not. He's definitely not at the carnival trying to get that little bell. You know when you hit it and then bing.
I'm gonna talk about carnivals later.
Oh shit, boy. So, here's another fun little interesting side note.
Okay.
James Scott, Duke of Monmouth, according to legend, a portrait was painted of Monmouth after his execution. The tradition states that it was realized that after the execution, there was no official portrait of the Duke, so his body was exhumed and head stitched back on, and he sat for his portrait to be painted. Many people believe this to be false, as they did end up finding previous portraits, though.
Yeah.
So, but that was like a huge legend for a long time that they're like, oh shit, we don't have a picture of this guy. Dig him up and sew his fucking head back on.
Took like a whole fucking thing of yarn to sew his head back on.
And you know it's a sloppy cut, so it didn't look good.
That's what I'm saying. It took a lot of sewing.
Yeah, it was a lot of overlap.
It looked like a fish fillet.
Give me that fish fillet. Oh, Big Mouth Billy Bass.
Throwback.
That's a Billy Bass quote.
We never got our Billy Bass.
We need to get a Billy Bass back here. So, in January of 1686, Ketch was committed to Bridewell Prison. Like I said, these are not the greatest of guys who are the executioners. But he got put in Bridewell Prison for affronting a sheriff, which means he offended the sheriff's values, which is definitely another weird crime. Mm-hmm. So he basically just like, fuck your God. And he's like, and threw him in jail. So that's when his assistant, Pascal Rose, formerly a butcher, took his place. But on the 28th of May, following his conviction for robbery, Rose himself was hanged and Ketch reinstated. So they didn't make Ketch hang him. They didn't make Ketch hang his apprentice, but he's just like, he came back. He's like, yo, you need to be executioner again because we just killed your apprentice. So he was reinstated, although it was a short run, as Ketch died that very same year in November of 1686 and was buried in
hold on.
Clerkenwell. That's where he was buried.
How did he die?
You
can't just say, he died.
I think he died of like old age.
Oh.
Everybody just, I mean, probably...
Well, no wonder it took him 5 swings to cut a dude's head off if he's dying of old age.
Well, I mean...
Fucking 80-year-old trying to swing a 40-pound axe.
Old age back then was like 40 to 50.
14.
Yeah. He's like, this 8-year-old can't swing this fucking axe. He has a butter knife. Just goes like, you guys might want to go on your lunch break. This is going to be a while. So he's feeding him through a wood chipper legs first. So even though Jack Ketch's run as executioner was not very long, it seems like he did make an infamous impact on the local community. For 200 years after his death, Jack Ketch was a synonym for executioner, and creatively the noose was known as Jack Ketch's necklace. In the end, Jack is still talked about to this day by modern citizens who have never even seen a gallows. So I leave you with this. If you want to be remembered in the history books, either be really good at your job or so bad that a group of people want to murder you. So that's all I have to say about that. I mean, honestly, just be super good at your job or super bad.
Or find a new job.
But I do want to leave you with this last little thing because it's so morbid. A lot of people dying. So this is, if I find like a little nugget in there, I like to throw it in at the end to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
So if a person was lucky enough to survive their execution, they were typically allowed to carry on living, as this was very rare. In 1709, years after Ketch's death, John Smith was hanged at Tyburn and left there for some time before he was cut down and revived. So if you hang there for a certain amount of time, I guess there's like, if you get over that 45-minute mark, they'll try to fucking revive you. I guess he like just died and they tried to revive him for some reason.
Yeah.
And he ended up making a full recovery and was allowed to live out his life. And from that day, he was known as Half-Hanged Smith.
Oh, before we say it's a happy ending, what was John Smith in there for? He killed 14 children.
Yeah, I was about to say. But like, and then he was known as Half-Hanged Smith before he killed 14 more. Then he was known as 28 Smith.
All right.
Oh fuck. So yeah, you make a good point. Maybe loitering. Let's say loitering.
Hopefully.
So offending a judge.
The guy at 7-Eleven is real sick of his shit, asking for quarters.
So that's I don't know. I think that's kind of a fun little, I don't like being up on the stage with a rope around my neck with a trapdoor under my feet and be like, there's no way out of this.
Yeah, you like to have some escape.
I'm going to be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm taking deep breaths. I want to see how long I can hold my breath for.
They're like, stop doing that double chin thing.
And the guy just makes my noose like twice as long. I'm like, what are you doing? And he pulls it and my head falls off. I'm like, sew back on. Take a portrait of me.
All right.
So that's the story of Jack Ketch. Hope you liked it, kids.
All right. So I'm going to tell you my little story here.
You better tell me your little story.
About a man named Tim McLean.
Tim McLean.
Do you know about this?
I know Don McLean of American Pie fame.
No, this is McLean.
No, I do not know.
Do you not know this one?
Is he a carnival guy?
Yeah.
No, I don't know him.
Okay. So before I start, I want to get out that terrible things happen, but we can still have fun with it.
Like killing 28 children and
Yeah,
surviving
exactly.
your execution.
So this event took place in 2008.
This is when carnivals were popping.
Yeah. And this also took place on a Greyhound bus traveling across the Trans-Canada Highway.
Oh my God! Wait,
I think you know this.
I might know this. Keep going. You said there's carnivals involved, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit. Not really, but yeah.
Okay.
So I've got another question for you. Have you ever traveled by Greyhound bus?
I did one time. It wasn't Greyhound. It was Peter Pan, I believe. Which I took a...
Sounds stupid as shit.
I took a bus from...
I rode Peter Pan all the way.
Okay. I took a bus from Boston to New York, and it was like 3 hours, but it was rather nice. Everyone was cordial.
Okay, so I got another question. Do they have like food like on airplanes? Or is it like whatever you bring on is what you get to eat?
Yeah, whatever you bring on, and yeah, they don't give you any food.
Okay.
Maybe on really long rides, but not on mine.
Okay, well this story is about the worst meal on a Greyhound bus ever.
Okay.
So
maybe I don't know this. I don't know. You're packaging this weird.
Yeah, well, I like to misguide you and confuse the fuck out of you.
Misdirection.
Since you know every story I try to tell.
I don't know all of them.
So this is, there's another man in this story, if not more important to the story, named Vince Lee. Mm-hmm. A 40-year-old Chinese-Canadian man. Vince was born in Dandong.
Oh.
No reaction there?
I didn't want to offend anybody in Dandong.
It's a great name.
It is a good one.
I'm sure there's plenty of places in America that like translate into something funny over there. So
it's true.
We can laugh at Dandong.
Like Titicaca?
Yeah.
What does that translate
Lake
to?
Titicaca. I mean, that's still funny in our language.
That's true.
Yeah.
Probably only in our language.
Yeah, probably. Vince was born in Dandong, China, and in 1992, he graduated from the University of Wuhan Institute of Technology with a bachelor's of science. So he worked in computers. Mm-hmm. And Lee worked in Beijing as a computer software engineer and immigrated to Canada from China. Jesus Christ.
He already sounds so interesting. I just want to know so much about this guy who just like learned about computers, and he has a very interesting life.
What, you want me to skip all the background? You want me to
No,
just jump straight to the meat?
No, I like this. I'm making.
Right.
I think I'm making fun of him because he's about to do something bad. So this guy.
Hey, we got 2 names here. Who knows who the bad guy is?
But like anybody who's like I don't know, that's secluded, because when you're a coder, you get pretty frustrated and there's not a lot of people around, and then you take a Greyhound bus and you steal somebody's food or what's going on here? Was this bad food?
So Lee became a Canadian citizen in 2006, and Lee seemed like a normal family man in an immigrated family. That's the correct term, immigrated.
Yes.
Family.
Yes.
So he would find
transplant. Yeah. No, maybe, I don't know.
No, transplant's something else. I think that's like people that don't have homes.
I don't. That's a transient.
Yeah, same thing.
So he's a transient transplant from China.
But yeah, so he found whatever work he could while in Canada to support his family, like working in a church.
Hey, he got a family. That's nice.
Yeah, he had a wife and I believe a kid, if not 2.
Okay.
We don't talk too much about the family. Lee found struggles with work being there was a very big language barrier. I believe he might have even been in some parts of Canada that spoke French.
I was about to say, because the eastern part of Canada is very French. I'll have to say right now, I mean, no disrespect to Canada at all, or the French, or the Canadian side of the English-speaking side, but like I had a roommate, and he was just like, he would always get mad about stupid stuff. He's like, God damn it, you know that there's 2 street signs everywhere now, or the one's in French, because the French rule Parliament, so they're just putting up French signs everywhere, so it's all in English and French. I'm like, this is a weird axe to grind, but like I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty interesting to think that like such a large country.
He's from Ottawa, so that's the capital of Canada.
Okay, it's just interesting that a large country like that has like large parts of it that speak different languages.
Oh my God, he said the eastern part is like fluent, like only French, like they'll only speak French over there.
It's really
like,
interesting.
It is really weird because everybody in America speaks English. I mean,
that's not weird. It's interesting to me.
No, yeah, there's different dialects and like, you know, or like accents or like, you know, stuff like that. But
we have like Creole.
Yeah, exactly. And like Southern and like.
But it's just not as
Minnesota, and you have a be a pop.
Okay, well
that's a pop.
It's a fucking accent.
No, I know, but like they say different words too. But this is like a completely different language, which is
yes,
you know what you're going to say.
Yeah. So Pastor Tom Castor said, I think he would occasionally feel frustrated with not being able to communicate or understand, but we have a very patient staff and he seemed to respond well.
Okay.
Lee would eventually leave his job at the church to work other jobs, such as a forklift driver, working at a Walmart, a fast food restaurant, and delivering newspapers.
Was he a bad engineer?
I think he was a good engineer. I just don't think he spoke the language.
But like it's code. It's the same language everywhere, right?
Still, I could only imagine it'd be pretty hard to apply for a job if you weren't.
Why did he move to Canada in the first place?
It's a good question.
I love Greyhounds.
Yes. So Lee was fired from his Walmart job following a disagreement with other employees.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah. And so this was about a month before the event. That's what we're referring to. So looking for new work, Lee boarded a Greyhound bus bound for Winnipeg. And on July 29th, Lee exited the bus in Erickson with his 3 pieces of luggage and stayed the night on a bench next to a grocery store.
Oh, that's so sad. So he is kind of a transient at this point.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is he looking for work right now?
Yeah. So he's looking to like move somewhere. He's trying to get work before he moves.
Is he with his family?
No, his family is somewhere else in Canada. But like he's like
sending them money when he like.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go wherever I need to, and you guys stay here.
So, according to an eyewitness, Lee was seen sitting on the bench, with his eyes wide open in a terrifying manner, sitting straight up, like he had a rod down his spine.
Good posture.
At 3 a.m.
That's a sign.
Yeah.
If I've ever heard one.
That next morning, still sitting on the bench, he sold his brand new laptop to a 15-year-old boy for $60. Strange thing to do.
Oh, he's having a mental breakdown. Here we go.
Yeah. So you're probably confused where I'm going with this and where Tim McLean comes into the story.
Was it a leapfrog?
What?
Those are laptops for 3-year-olds. Oh. There's like they show you shapes and shit.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
It's a leapfrog, dude.
They're probably all just like iPads now.
He's like, you want my brand new laptop? He's like, no. please don't give that to me. He's like,
you can watch porn on it. Why don't you want this? Give me $60.
There's a square and a circle on it. Fucking look at it.
You'll start to see things
Use
if
your
you stare
imagine-
long enough.
Just push the 2 fucking circles together.
So, yeah, you're probably wondering where this story's going. And, well, your stop is here if you'd like to get on the bus. On July 30th, 2008, Tim McLean, a 22-year-old carnival barker, which is a fancier name for the guys who stand at the table at carnivals trying to get you to throw rings at bottles, even though the rings are smaller than the necks of the bottles you're trying to throw them onto.
See, I preferred a carnival barker as the guy who goes, hey, welcome all. Here we go. Here, we got a freak in here. You know, the freak show.
Well, I
ones.
mean, that's basically the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
come try to pop these balloons with...
We've lost that art form a little bit. Now there's like, hey,
You got a cigarette, kid?
you want a big Stewie? Look at this big Stewie, a little sponge ball.
You want to snuggle up with Big Stewie? throw this ball in my face.
Hey, look at Pickle Rick.
You want a Deadpool pillow?
Hey, which one you want the Deadpool hat? They're cool.
Deadpool hat.
Here's a goldfish that'll die in 2 days.
You know, don't forget about your Deadpool wallet with the chain.
Keep going. This is just gonna get worse and worse. It's not gonna
We've
get
got
better. Deadpool wallets and chains.
So Tim McLean boarded the Greyhound to return home to Manitoba after working at the fair in Alberta.
I'm picturing him getting off wearing all Deadpool stuff now. He steals from his booth, and no one questions him, even though he wears it in front of everybody.
I mean, is it stealing when he's just stealing from children all day?
No, he's stealing from corporate. You know, they're
I'm
losing.
just saying that all those booths are
our
rip-off.
Stewie profits are fucking down right now, man.
Family Guy's tanking. So he got on the Greyhound to head home after working at the fair, and McLean headed towards the back of the bus and sat one row ahead of the toilet. At 6:55 p.m., the bus departed from a stop in Erickson with a new passenger, Mr. Vince Lee.
Oh.
Vince was described as a tall man in his 40s with a shaved head and sunglasses.
Okay.
And
I thought he had a fro.
No, he did.
He left it off in the park.
He left it at the park bench.
He sold it for $60.
So when Lee entered the bus, he sat near the front of the bus, but eventually changed his mind and moved to the back and sat next to McLean.
And the same 2-seaters?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's 2-seaters.
Yeah.
McLean barely acknowledged Lee, then fell asleep against the window pane with his headphones on.
Mm-hmm.
Big mistake.
What was he listening to?
ICP.
It's always the
I'm not.
Insane Clown Posse.
I'm not joking, though.
Wait, what?
I Googled his name, and everything that came up was, like, ICP forums, and I guess he was a huge Insane Clown Posse guy. And, like, tons of them, like, remember him and, like, celebrate his life.
So even better, he wasn't wearing any Deadpool stuff. He was wearing all Hatchet family stuff.
Yep.
Insane Clown Posse.
I think I just did a little spoiler there on accident.
Why?
But, so this is where things take a turn. According to witnesses, McLean
might
was
be dead.
McLean was sleeping when the man next to him, being Lee, suddenly produced a large knife and started stabbing McLean in the neck and in the chest repetitively. Chaos broke out, and the bus driver pulled the bus over, and the driver, along with all the other passengers, bolted off the bus for their lives.
Cowards.
Well, the driver and 2 other men attempted to help McLean, but on a small bus and a guy with a big-ass knife, it's kind of hard to, like...
Small bus.
Oh, there's that
big knife.
There's that
We're
tiny aisle.
in for a fight.
There's a tiny... Like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, it'd be kind of hard to... big open room, that's maybe one thing,
There's
but, like...
not a lot of angles you could come at him that aren't over a seat.
Yep.
You're just getting stabbed over a seat. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so Lee fended them off with his knife.
Fuck.
So Lee, the attacker, then decapitated McLean and displayed his severed head to the other
London
passengers.
Bridge.
No, he held it up and he presented it to all the other people staying outside. And then Lee went back to McLean's body and started to sever off other body parts.
Oh, he's quartering him.
And began to eat McLean.
Oh! no.
Yeah. So
I'll take a Pepsi with this.
I wanted to make a McDonald's joke because of his name, but I didn't.
I like when you said, and then Lee suddenly, and then I was gonna make a joke, but then you went with start stabbing him in the neck, and I was like, this doesn't seem like an appropriate time. But suddenly is funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So at 8:30, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Mounties.
Yep.
Damn, Canada, two pods in a row.
Yep. In Portage la Prairie, I don't know, it's a French word.
Sounds French to me.
They received a report of a stabbing on a Greyhound bus west of the city.
It sounds so nonchalant where you're like, oh, some guy got stabbed. And you're like, oh, no, he got his head cut off and some guy pressed it against the window.
And he's eating it.
He's wearing it on his fro.
Yeah. So when they arrived, they found the suspect still on the bus being trapped by the other passengers, so they were preventing him to leave.
Yeah.
Like they didn't want to let him escape. And it was reported by the police that some of the witnesses were crying and vomiting when the Mounties got there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Lee did attempt...
Is that guy wearing an ICP hat?
Jesus. Lee did attempt to drive the bus away and, trying to escape and flee from the scene.
He didn't even take the keys out of the ignition?
Well, this is the thing I didn't know about, but the driver had engaged the emergency immobilizer system, rendering the vehicle inoperable.
So that means, like, if you're on a hill and you're sliding or something like that, like you crank that Soldier Boy and all of a sudden it shuts down?
You yeet that shit down. Yeah, apparently...
The guy yeeted all the wheels off the bus, and they ain't going round and round no more.
So apparently a lot of these buses have some type of thing that you can just, like, shut it down.
I wonder what that's used for. Like
this exact reason, I think, if someone tries to steal the bus.
Oh, really?
I would assume so.
They're like, no, if you got a Canadian Asian guy cutting off a head, you're going to want to press his button.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're going to want to twist the key. So the police were quickly in a standoff with the suspect, and they summoned special negotiators and heavily armed tactical units.
Okay, this does not make sense to me already, because the guy who's on the bus, his head is clearly off his body.
Yeah.
Who are they negotiating with? Shoot him through the window.
I think they're just trying to get him to come peacefully.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of paperwork to file if you gotta shoot somebody.
Yeah. So, ignoring the negotiations, Lee paced the length of the bus and started to defile the corpse of McLean.
Oh, what does that mean?
I didn't...
Because he's already in pieces at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if he was diddling the body or if he was eating it. It didn't really go into detail what it meant by the term, like the definition of defiling that it was using.
You know what's funny? I know this story and I still keep gasping because, like, I either forget parts or you just describe them and it just sounds so horrifying that it's like a natural reaction.
So if it wasn't enough for the police to hear the reports of Lee eating McLean's body and parading about with his severed head, they got to witness it firsthand when Lee went back for another meal. Attempting to negotiate a surrender, Lee told the Mounties that he would, in quotes, have to stay on the bus forever. He's accepted his fate.
That's a ballsy strategy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna live here.
I thought he's gonna be like, A1 sauce. And you're like, what? He's like, A1 sauce.
And steak knife. Steak knife.
I can use a baked potato, right? Why is he Southern? He's like from Texas now.
Charcoal grill. Lemonade.
I need a nice tall iced tea right now.
Watermelon. One watermelon.
What am I supposed to eat this about no barbecue? How am I supposed to eat this barbecue?
Let's get back into that.
This is so fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little fucked. So early July 31st, around 1:30 a.m., so it's been a few hours, Lee attempted to escape from the bus by breaking out a window, but was quickly apprehended by the Mounties after getting shot twice with a taser, handcuffed, and tossed in the back of a police cruiser.
Okay.
Parts of the body of the victim were bagged up for evidence, while McLean's ear, nose, and tongue were found in Lee's pockets, possibly for a little, jail processing snack, because that can take a while.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's the soft parts. Remember, we always talk about that, like the animals, like when you die in nature, like they'll eat your nose, they'll eat your lips, tongue, and eyes.
Yeah.
And ears. Yeah.
Yep. So the Mounties gained a lot of criticism from the public, who wondered why the police did not immediately board the bus and arrest Lee.
I was gonna say, why the fuck are you criticizing them? Like, what do they want them to do? Yeah. Like, don't tase him. And you're like,
yeah.
What?
Police brutality.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were gonna say. Like
he just cut a dude's head off.
He's like, check my pockets. You got like the cops are like, you got anything in your pocket? He's like, tongue, ear, mouth. You're like, okay.
And my Tic Tacs. Don't touch my Tic Tacs.
If I reach in your pocket, is anything gonna poke me? Maybe the teeth.
So the Mounties, like I was saying, they got a lot of criticism, and their excuse was that they didn't have enough time to set up like a good like
parameter.
Or just like a good like breach. I don't know.
Yeah,
it kind of sounds like a bullshit excuse. But...
I mean, that's what I criticized for. I was like, why didn't you just shoot him through the window? But like you said, like the less you could, like, what is the point of
killing him?
No. What's the point of getting mad at the Mounties? Like, you didn't catch him fast enough. Like, we caught him, and
he's not going anywhere.
They're like, yeah, but it was 3 hours later. You let him cut off more pieces. Like, the guy's dead. Nobody died more. You know? People just like to be mad about shit.
Yeah. So the victim's eyes and heart were never recovered and were presumed to have been part of Lee's meal before.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So Lee's trial commenced on March 3rd of 2009 with Lee pleading not criminally responsible, which what people commonly know as the insanity defense.
You ever... I have a twin.
Yeah.
No one ever brings
up... He still has the blood on his mouth. It was my twin, I swear.
Like, he has like 2 eyes over his eyes, and he's like, I never found the eyes.
It's like Dwight when he cuts the
face off.
The face off.
Hello, Clarice.
So God, I can never fucking say that word.
Psychotic?
No. Psychiatrist?
You can't say that word.
It's a hard word. There's a lot of letters in there.
You said it.
Yeah. The psychiatrist said that Lee performed the attack because God's voice told him McLean was a force of evil and was about to execute him.
Do you think it's because he had probably like a hatchet guy like tattoo on him?
Could have been. I mean,
who knows what he had? Maybe a tattoo, but like, I wonder what set him off.
Yeah, it could have been. Maybe you could hear the music or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that
someone was going to get killed on that bus.
This guy is having like a mental breakdown, right? Yeah. Like, sells laptop for $60. Whoa, wacky.
Well, that was important because they had to go find his laptop to
make sure he didn't search how to cut guys' head off on Greyhound Bus.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Judge John Sherfield accepted the diagnosis along with the accounts of eyewitnesses who said Lee was completely emotionless during the attack and ruled that Lee was not criminally responsible for the killing. So basically he was just like beheading this guy and eating him with no emotion on his face, which is honestly more terrifying.
Yeah, probably.
So Lee was sent to be in the Selkirk Mental Health Facility. But, and this is a big but. You ready for this big but?
I've been waiting for a big but in this story this whole time.
On February 10th of 2017, the Manitoba Criminal Code Review Board, that wasn't in a sentence there. Board ordered Lee to be discharged. Lee was granted an absolute discharge, and it is noted that there will be no legal obligations or restrictions pertaining to Lee's independent living.
What the fuck? That's fucked up.
So they just fucking...
He's free.
He's free.
So if you guys break your arm or want to murder somebody, go to Canada because free healthcare and free justice system. You get one for everyone gets one free murder.
Everybody gets one. So the week following the attack, a little side note, the Greyhound of Canada announced it was pulling a series of nationwide advertisements, which include the slogan, "There's a reason you've never heard of bus rage." I mean, that's just poor timing.
Oh man, that's funny. That's really. But
so I'll wrap it up here.
But that's kind of weird because they're assuming
like road rage.
Well, they're assuming that people take buses. Oh, I guess overdriving. Yeah, I guess you're right. No. I thought it was gonna be like you'll lose your head over these prices.
Oh, God. So I guess there's 2 things to learn from the story. The first one is do not sleep on a Greyhound bus. And the second one is if you feel like beheading a stranger and eating parts of them, do it on a Canadian Greyhound bus because you might just get out in 8 years.
Amen. That's crazy. 8 years?
Yeah.
Okay, but see, that's the other thing where it's like we were talking about the insanity thing where if you're going to do something bad, like piss in jars as well. Mm-hmm. Also, eat the person's
Make sure you have some piss in your belly.
Oh, God damn. I mean, I feel like judges can tell when somebody's actually insane, though.
Well, it sounds like this guy was mentally ill for sure.
But that's the thing, though. It's like they still let him go. Where, I don't know. I'm not gonna get all like prison reformy and like telling. I don't know. There's a lot going on with this situation, but it just seems like such a brutal act that it's almost unforgivable.
I would agree with that for sure.
Like, how do we know that this is not going to happen again if he has like a bad day at work?
Man, it's been 2 years.
Wait, he got out in 2017.
17.
Oh, did he? Okay. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That is so... Do you think he's taken a Greyhound since then? Do you
I
think
would hope he's blacklisted. He's got his license to drive.
The Greyhound bus guy gets out. I mean, the bus driver is like, okay, everybody's going to be... Fuck, is that Lee?
Bus is broken. Bus is broken.
Hits the lock button. Fucking gets off. I mean, goddamn.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think is him and his wife still together?
I didn't see much about us. There was really no talk of his family.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, because his kid is probably...
doing great. I bet he's doing great.
So it's bring your parents to school day. You know, what does your dad do? He's a coder, but his hobby is what makes him cool.
He's a coder, but he's more of a chef. Yikes.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, I think that wraps up our podcast for the day. We had a lot of people get their heads cut off today.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Headless podcast.
People are going to lose their heads over this one. Fuck me.
So thank you guys for tuning in. We really do appreciate it when you do. We love it when you do. Fuck. If you guys want more information, go to campstrange.com. Send us a story. Go to campstrange.com, click the contact tab, or send it to campstrangepodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram. We'll post some pictures of his afro and these old hangings and beheadings of Jack Ketch. We also got Facebook and Twitter. We don't use them that often, but that may be changing soon. What else? We got merch. If you guys like merch, we got some mugs. We got some shirts. We got some new t-shirt designs coming out soon.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
So if you guys, not just David's goblin that he really wants to, he set up a poll.
The people have spoken. It was 100% yes on both polls.
Well, you know what? If they click the red yes, that means no.
No.
You know that, right?
No.
So
no.
David's trying to get a goblin shirt up on the website, and our friend Jared is making some pretty cool shirts as well. So we'll check those out. J-Rod. He was on the podcast. Jared Kleber.
Oh, this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, I gotta show you this. Okay,
I don't know
this is some good stuff. So we got that stuff if you want to check out that. Please rate, review, and subscribe. I don't think we mentioned that before, but if you guys could review us, that would
means the world.
It would be amazing because we're not really making any money off this, but like the more people that listen to this, the better, and it gives us a little bit of a adrenaline rush,
and it gives you a better chance of getting more episodes, motherfucker.
True. If you like it. If you don't like it, then don't review us. You're getting what you want. So, what else we got, David?
We got Peter Dinklage's baby photos.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. We got tahini in a shoe.
Like the sauce?
Yeah.
What type of shoe?
Cobbler shoe.
Okay, we got armadillos.
We got armadildos.
Is that armored dildos? It's perfect for war.
It's whatever you want it to be, baby.
We got a couple plungers.
We got a knife that glows in the dark.
We have a cat, but it only has one leg and it's been spray painted. Please give this cat a home.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good one. That's a really good one. We have chili in a water balloon, and guess what? We're throwing it at you at graduation. You get chili on your diploma.
We also have 3 severed cat legs, unrelated to the last one, but they're more for wishing and good luck.
We got it. Gray. We got the color gray.
It's got the whole color gray.
Fuck it.
You name it, we got it in gray.
We copyrighted it. You can't use it no more.
We've got dice of assorted names on them. They might not be yours, but they could be a good gift for someone you know by that name. You just don't know. You might get one. You might be a good one.
We got dirty underwear. Turn it inside out.
You know you can wear underwear 4 times.
In what way?
Yeah, you wear it frontwards, backwards, inside out, frontwards, and inside out, backwards. That's 4 times. 4-time uses. 4-time uses underwear.
My crotch smells like shit. Anyway, let's end there. Here we go. And thank you guys for tuning in. We love when you do, like we always say. David, do you have anything to say as we leave these fine folks?
Don't overuse pesticides.
Or just use as much as you want.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And don't forget to stay strange.